I never understood the idea of a woman not being in their femininity or a person having to bring this out of them. Um, to me, and this is probably just my logical and reasoning mind. If you're a feminine woman, you're a feminine woman. Same as masculine. If you're a masculine man, you're a masculine man. It doesn't take for a woman to pull out a man's masculinity. It's either in you or it's not. Um, a wise man once said that I am what I am, and what I'm not, I will never be. So it's either you are or you aren't. So I don't understand that concept that a man will take a woman out of their femininity.
I agree with that. I really feel like when they were talking about earlier it being fake, I feel like in the beginning of relationships, a lot of people are putting up facades. I really do think that it's going to come out eventually. No one's there. Who you are is going to eventually come out and it's going to show either you're going to be feminine or you're not in any situation. Like it just depends on what happens, what's said wrong or taken wrong. That person is going to, it's going to show. So I don't agree. I agree with that. It's you either are or you're not.
I'd have to disagree. And only the reason why I do is because I feel like there are certain circumstances where, like, for instance, if certain environments or certain people can bring out the worst in you. I've seen it firsthand. Certain situations, environments, or people that you're around. And I have this theory too that like you are who you hang around. But the second
Mm.
you stop hanging around with certain people, the second you change your environment and you start being around people that can show you different things, it starts to alter you and have you come have a different side of you come out. And I can only say to my experience because I wasn't always, I got skeletons in my freaking closet too. And it took a while for me to get to the mindset that I am now, but I didn't get there until I completely cut off certain people and started hanging around the group that was healthier for me. And when I started understanding what healthy looks like, when I started understanding what peace looks like, and when I started understanding how to obtain that and sustain that, that is when I started really understanding what being a woman is all about and how to embrace in that and how to not allow my environment or anybody in my life to bring me back to a person that feels like they always got to survive. And because I used to be a little firecracker. I used to fight all the time. I was just, it was not good, and it came from the environments that I've been, the things that I've been through. But when I started hanging out with people that taught me certain things, I was like, all right, like I get it now. I get how to handle this. I get how to do this. And I started getting certain characteristics, unleashing certain characteristics that I didn't even know existed within myself. So I do feel that, whom you are around in certain instances and circumstances can bring the worst out of you just as much as certain people can bring the best out of you.
I agree with that to an extent. I think that even in that situation, right? If you're around people that's toxic and you're not toxic, you're going to be uncomfortable around those people that are toxic. When I was running the streets, I hung out with an open crowd for somewhat, right? But one thing that I absolutely despised was thieves. If you was a stick up boy or something like, I'm not kicking it with you. I'm not being associated with you, anything of that nature, just because I don't feel comfortable around that because that's not what I do. So again, if you're around people that are fighters, you're a fighter. I mean, it's not necessarily nothing wrong with that. You're just a fighter, right? You can be a good fighter or a bad fighter. But again, to say that, and I agree with it to the extent of if you hang around five fools you'll be the sixth one. But if you don't see yourself as being a fool, you're not going to be around those five fools. So that's that part I'm still kind of torn on, in which again I understand, but logically my mind going to that doesn't make sense.
I want to build off of Viz when he said either it's in you or it's not. I feel like, a lot of people, I feel like it starts at home, how you were raised, your circumstances and things like that. So I feel like certain people won't really know who they are until they can get to themselves and get to know themselves more to know if that is in them or not. I feel like a lot of people got to spend a lot of time really getting to know yourselves to be able to depict whether or not it's in you or it's not. You won't really know what's in you or what's not in you until you actually spend time to yourself to get to know who you are as a person. So
I don't know. I agree with both sides to a certain extent. I feel like when you know better, you do better. So if you're ignorant to certain things, you're gonna fall for anything. Like you see somebody doing something, you might just say, "Okay, that looks fun," not really knowing what's going on. I think when you grow up with role models who are telling you right from wrong and you know what to do, I do agree that you do know in the back of your mind, like, okay, I'm not supposed to be doing this. But everybody isn't raised that way. So I think over time, like you'll learn eventually, but everything is really a lesson for you. So I don't know. I could see both points of view.
Some of the most hardcore niggas that I know, excuse my French, they they knew what they were doing was wrong. I can't pass off the accountability of saying that when you know better, you do better, because a lot of people know exactly what is right and what's wrong, what to do and what not to do, but they choose to do it, which is the key point. They make the decision to do it. I was at a Dave and Buster's, and a young lady was there, a bartender, and we was chopping it up. And she told me that her baby daddy shot her in the stomach.
What?
Yeah. Now, mind you, she grew up in a two-parent home. Her father worked every single day, took care, provided. She was in the suburbs, put up. But the fact that she was put up in the suburbs, she saw this city life and she saw this fast life, and that intrigued her. And even though she knew that her going out to the city and playing in them streets was the wrong thing to do, she continued to do it. She got pregnant by the boy, and then eventually, when she tried to walk away, he shot her in the hip. So we pass off this accountability of knowing directly of what is right and wrong, because we all make decisions. That's one of the beauties of life, right? Is that we're able to make those decisions. You find out what's right and wrong early at the age of 9 and 10. If you got a little boy that's 9 years old and he cussing, he know it's wrong, but the mama ain't stopping it. Grandma ain't stopping it. They probably laughing at it. They think it's amusing. He gets in trouble at school. What they do? They just pass it off. Oh, that's just Daquan. That's just Daquan being Daquan. No, that little nigga know what he doing, but everybody is empowering him and allowing for him to do it so that he thinks that it's the right, it's okay. There's no consequences from it. And that's a nasty cycle that we see often. And I think that when we get away from sharing that narrative, then we could potentially save the youth.